Here are different parts of the kidney, okay, and a more in-depth look at these. So this obviously is the kidney. The renal artery we're seeing in this structure right here. This is the renal artery, okay, and then you need to know the renal vein, which is number 1 over here on this model. The renal cortex is not the outside part of the kidney. What's the outside part of the kidney called? The capsule, that's right. So underneath the capsule is a thick layer, and this is the cortex right here. So this is the renal cortex all the way around. And then the renal pyramid are what looks like these triangle-shaped structures. Now, what's another name for the renal pyramid that I've been using in lecture? Yes, the medulla. So these are all medullas. All right. What's next? The renal papilla. The renal papilla is indicated on this structure by this indent right here. So we actually saw that in the real kidney, okay, is that this kind of forms a lip over the renal calyx here. And this area right in here is called the renal papillae. All right, now from the renal papilla, papilla is plural, papilla is singular, so this would be a papilla. And so from the renal papilla, we have this structure right here. What is that called?
Renal pelvis.
No.
Calyx.
This is a calyx, okay? So this is a minor calyx, and where 2 minors come in, so for example, this is a better indication, is we have a minor calyx here, this would be considered a major calyx, okay? Again, we've got a 2 branch right here, so this would be a minor coming into a major. And all of the majors are going to come in to form this large region, which is called the
Renal pelvis.
Okay, look how smart you guys are. All right. Now, not so much on this structure, but this structure blows up a renal pyramid or a medulla area and / cortex. So in this blow-up version of the section over here, we're looking at the nephron structure. Okay, so we have 2 types of nephrons. They're both being visible here. The shorter one, which is primarily in the cortex, is called the
Cortical medulla.
yes,
Right?
the cortical nephron.
Nephron, yeah.
Okay, and this longer nephron right here, which extends way down into the medulla, is what kind?
The
The juxtamedullary nephron. All right, we already talked about calyx. That's down a little bit weird. Now we need to talk about the parts of the nephron. Now notice the nephrons are running in reverse orientation from each other. Okay, so keep that in mind. If I put a sticker on one of these, that you understand where these 2 parts of the nephron are located. Always start with the glomerulus. Okay, so we see the glomerulus here and the glomerulus here. Those are those capillary ends that are coming in. And the glomerulus is attached to the glomerular capsule. So we see the glomerular capsule. And now notice in this one is that the proximal tubule is right here, and then we see the nephron loop, and here we see the proximal tubule right next to this glomerulus, and we see the nephron loop here. So in this nephron loop, this is the ascending loop, or the descending loop, this is the ascending loop, and over here, this is the descending loop, and this is the ascending loop. Okay, do we got that?
So it descends out of the...
It descends out of the proximal tubule, which is connected to the glomerular capsule, which is connected to the glomerulus. Okay, so we have our nephron loops, and then our nephron loops are connected to the distal tubule. And notice how the distal tubule is in opposite orientations between these 2 nephrons, and both of these are connecting to the the collecting duct, okay? And the collecting ducts, if you remember, is what gives the medulla its striation pattern. All right, this one's blown up a little bit. Now, the other thing that you need to know, since we're talking about this one, and this is the best model for this, is the peritubular capillaries and the blood vessels that are called the...
Vasa recta.
Yeah, the vasa recta.
Vasta.
Where is that?
It's right inside of
bottom.
peritubular capillary.
Okay, yes, in the the vasta recta. Now, this is representing here the peritubular capillary, and then these cross bridges is the vasta recta going into the venules that are taking it back to the veins that lead out. All right, so normally in a normal kidney, these would be overlaying the nephron, okay? But for simplicity, to show you the structure of the nephron, they've taken them out and they're showing you them here, okay? So normally this would be covering a nephron, all right? But it's here. So this is a nice way of stickering that information. Now, if we blow up the glomerular capsule, so inside the glomerular capsule we see what? The glomerulus. Now the glomerulus inside of the capsule would be covered with this white layer. What is this white layer? Anybody know? Yes, this is the visceral layer of the glomerular capsule. So for the point of clarity is that this is the glomerulus, which are the capillaries, and they're showing you them here, but these all should be covered with this so that it doesn't confuse you. Now these gray areas are the podocytes, which are specialized cells on the visceral layer of the glomerular capsule. And then inside this gray layer, if we can see that inside, is what layer? You know what that? That's the parietal layer of the glomerular capsule. Okay, and then we're also seeing our vessels that are taking the blood into the glomerulus and out. And this one represents, it's got the larger diameter. Which one is that one? Yes, this is the afferent arterial, and then this one is the efferent. Okay. And then next to this glomerulus is the ascending loop of the nephron tube. Okay. And so from here, we're seeing the creation of, what's this apparatus called? The juxtaglomerular apparatus, okay? And so the juxtaglomerular cells are the cells right here within the afferent or afferent arterial, and the macula densa cells are right here inside the ascending loop. All right, so that's that model. Do another model?
Yes.
Okay.
You want this one?
This one's a lot simpler in structure.
There's more on the back.
Yeah, we'll have to flip it around. Okay, so this is trying to show you the entire urinary system. So the urinary consists of 2 kidneys, and from the kidneys we have 2 ureters, and the ureters connect to the urinary bladder. And if we remove the cover of this, we can see the urethra right here. Okay, now this is kind of a unisex model, however it is a male, and we'll talk more about that when we talk about the reproductive system. But this is showing you the urethra coming out of the bladder, and when we talk about the reproductive system, we'll get more into the difference between male and female anatomy. All right, so we see our blood vessels. All right. And you need to know the renal artery and the renal veins that are coming out. And this one also shows you the inside of the kidney. And so we're seeing the capsule, which goes around the outside. It's not a very good capsule, by the way, because we've seen the medulla or the renal pyramids going all the way up. So this isn't a very good representation of a cortex versus the medulla. But what is good about it is that we see a clear indication of the papilla on each of these renal pyramids, okay? So we see that nice gray area. It's a nice differentiation. Now, from the papilla, we've got our minor calyx, and then we've got a major calyx right here, and all of this together creates the renal pelvis. All right, and that's pretty much about what we can deduct from here. All right, and you want to do a little kidney. Okay, so for a little kidney, we probably won't use this side. So again, oh, there was one thing. Okay, we see a very clear indication. I didn't realize you needed to know the adrenal gland. The adrenal gland is here. And just to back up, not to confuse you, is the adrenal glands are over here. So if you didn't see that on the last model, I apologize. This is the adrenal gland right here. And then we have one kidney right here. And we see our renal artery and our renal vein coming in right here. Now, we also see the ureter coming in. The ureter is connected to the renal pelvis, which is this area, and the renal pelvis will further differentiate into the major, whoops, I guess this would be a major calyx and a minor calyx, okay? And then here we're seeing the indication of the papilla at the end of the medulla, all right? And so these red areas are the medulla, okay, and this outer area is the cortex. And I think that's all you need to know, isn't it? Yeah. And then they have a little nephron right here, but I would not use this model to test you on the nephron. Okay, that's that. Any other models? I think we got them all. All right. Now.